Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Today we are talking about why hustle isn't the secret to a million and the three formulas that actually scale. So, I don't know about you, but I have bought a lot of online programs and I have probably completed 90% of them through the years. And I have learned so much since I went online in 2016. I actually started my first online business in the fall of 2016 before I actually sold my franchise. It was kind of a panic moment where I was like, okay, what am I going to do with all of my time? And so I started an online clothing boutique. And I was like, okay, this is going to be so easy. I've been an entrepreneur 10 years and, I can absolutely do this. Boy, was I wrong. And so, what I learned was that no, it actually was not easy. And going online has actually been way harder than I thought. But what I have come to the conclusion on over the past year is ultimately simplicity scales. And that exactly is what we're talking about today. So, hey there, I'm Salen, your fun business coach. I help six-figure women entrepreneurs integrate the four core pillars that every successful business utilizes, like Amazon, Apple, Airbnb. My business uses them, and your business should too. So, if you're a six-figure woman entrepreneur who has been feeling like your revenue is declining, your revenue is stuck, maybe because you're at capacity and you have no more time to give, or you're frustrated because all of the things you've done in the past are no longer working. Well, guess what? You are in the right place because today we are talking about how to simplify in order to scale. Might be a little shocking to some of you who think that more is better, but more is not actually better. So this week, we're pulling back the curtain on my three magic formulas that helped me just celebrate my best month in business. And I really wanted to talk about this. Now, if you didn't read this in my newsletter that was released on Sunday, then I want you to comment newsletter and I will send you the link to sign up. But every Sunday, I put out a newsletter with all of the lessons that I have learned in business with the hope that you can skip them and have a much better, quicker, faster results. And also use these tactics as like real time. I write it live every single week, what's going on in the industry for business, for life, mindset, abundance, strategy, scaling, everything we kind of cover. So let's talk about this magic three formula. So last year in 2024, I felt like I had all the pieces. I mean, I had funnels, I had offers, I was on all the social media platforms, I was doing all the things. And I honestly felt like all the exhaustedness. Like, I was like, okay, I'm doing all of the things, but it's not equating to the revenue that I expected. Like, I felt like, oh my gosh, I post on social, I have a strong call to action, my hooks are good, I have the, free guides and the quizzes, and I have the offers, I have big offers, I have medium offers, I have small offers, I have all of the things. What the heck? Why isn't it working? If you've ever felt like this, be like, OMG, me too, in the comments. And so what I realized was I had too much. And it brought me back to a time in my franchise business where I had a senior home care franchise. And what we did was we helped seniors remain at home. So we provided companionship, meal prep, housekeeping, personal care in their home in order to help them stay there. But what had happened was I had gone down this little spiral where I was actually had a staff member in an assisted living, independent living facility the majority of the day in order to provide care to their residents. Sounds like a great idea, right? I would get more clients. It could be like a small staff. Everything sounded amazing. The problem is it was too much to handle. I had a multi-million-dollar business that was focused on one thing. And then I had like this other like side thing going on over here. And it was distracting me. It was taking a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money to keep it going because it wasn't profitable in the first 6 months to a year. And so this is I had this moment at the end of 2024. So at the end of every year, really in fourth quarter, I start looking at my numbers. I look at where I'm spending my time, my money, my energy, all of those different kinds of things. And what I realized is when I got together with my mastermind ladies last November in Tampa, that I was spending a lot of time and energy on things that did not move the needle. And then I figured out what actually did move the needle in 2024, networking and speaking, and I made the decision to double down on those. Well, it was like, wow. I set a goal in 2024 to do one speaking engagement every single month. As of today, I've done 28. So I'm trying to 3x that goal before the end of the year. So hint, hint, if you know of any women entrepreneurs groups that are looking for speakers, I'm your girl. Back to our topic. So the 3 magic formula is what I realized was a couple things. I had hired a messaging coach, and when I started diving into my messaging, which is really the first point of contact, everything that you do in business starts with communication, right? Everything, whether you're speaking to people in person, whether you're speaking online, whether you're speaking live like this, whether you're speaking through social media posts or reels, everything is about communication and how you say it, AKA messaging. Well, I had some reels that were really taking off when I mentioned burnout. I mean, I'm talking like a normal reel for me would do like a couple hundred views, and these would do like 100,000, right? What a swing. And so I dove all in to talking about burnout. I changed my tagline from burnt out to balanced in 90 days and all of these things. Well, guess what happened? I started attracting burnt out women entrepreneurs. Sounds like just what I wanted, right? But guess what? They were so burnt out that they were far beyond me trying to help them. On our first call, they would literally get on there and say, something has to happen or I'm going to quit, close, or sell. They didn't have the energy to do the work that I needed them to do in order to get out of burnout, right? Like they were too far gone. And so it was exhausting me, it was exhausting them. And I realized like, ooh, what I was saying was attracting the wrong thing. And so what I realized was my dream client, and this is magic formula number 1, you have to speak to your dream clients. So yes, I work with women who are experiencing signs of burnout, but I wanted to attract the dream clients, women entrepreneurs who were in the early stages of burnout and who still had the time, money, and energy in order to take action to get their business where it needs to be in order to get out of that burnout. So I started speaking not to their pain, burnout, but to their desire, scaling, because that's what we ultimately want. We want more time and more freedom so we can live our best life, right? So magic formula number 1, you want to speak to your dream clients' desires, right? Pain points are great and we're going to talk to them, but not how we're going to call them out, right? Like, makes sense? So that was number one. That was the shift that I made. Number two of the shift was clutter. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you. Remember I told you I had big offers, I had medium offers, I had small offers. Oh my gosh. Literally, I had too much going on. I had a mini course, a quiz, a webinar, workshops, freebies, plus my signature program. And just saying all that right now made me tired. What I did was I literally turned the majority of it off. I shut off the webinar. I shut down the quiz. I shut down the workshops. And all I decided was in 2025 was I was going to write a weekly newsletter, which if you're not on it, comment newsletter, I'll get you on there. And I was going to focus on enrolling women into my signature program, my 90-day legacy business school, right? That was it. Well, guess what? When you talk about one thing and you become known for one thing, people then say, I need your one thing. And that's exactly what happened. So if you feel like you're managing all of these offers and programs and all of these services and products, and you just can't keep your head above water, try magic formula number 2, which is simplify to scale. Now let's move to magic power number 3. This is the gold. So if you have been tuning me out, then guess what? Time to pay attention. You need to own your superpower. So a client's offhand remark in April sent me kind of spiraling, but in a good way. They said something to me that meant nothing to them, but it meant so much to me. And it totally changed the way that I held myself, the way I positioned myself, the way I talked to myself, like everything. Like I'm a really confident woman, but we all have those times where there's self-doubt. And when things aren't going the way that we want it to or expected it to, that's when the self-doubt creeps in, right? So in 2024, things were creeping in. But this client sent me spiraling, and it was exactly what I needed. It was exactly what I needed to realize that, you know what? I have 18 years of business experience in franchising products, services, direct sales, in-person, brick and mortar, online, in-person, networking, like all of these different things I have done in so many different industries. And I'm pretty darn smart, right? And so it was an opportunity for me to kind of pull my shoulders back and be like, you know what? I know what the heck I'm talking about. And if you don't see my value, well, probably we shouldn't work together, right? I changed my sales strategy. I changed everything. Like when I do sales calls now with people, all of that like bro marketing BS is gone, right? I literally watched a sales training, did it once, and then called the potential client and said, I apologize for feeling so icky. I felt like I needed a shower afterwards, right? And what I did was I became me. When I get on a call with someone for a scale strategy session, I literally say, tell me about you, your business, and what's your biggest frustration. And then we map out your 90-day blueprint. So if you're someone who's gotten on a sales call, we all know there's sales calls, right? Discovery calls, clarity calls, sales calls, call them what you want. I call mine scale strategy sessions, right? Then you have to be you. You have to do what works for you. And so I offer these scale strategy sessions to women to serve them. And I kind of say to them, do you think what we mapped out together is helpful? And if they say yes, I'm like, can I tell you about my program and how it might be able to help you? And then I tell them, and then we move on. We keep it super, super simple and authentic. And that is what is winning right now. And so I want you to think, what is your superpower? And then I want you to let me know in the comments, What is your superpower? And if you don't think you have one, I guarantee you do. And you definitely need to comment scale and book a complimentary scale strategy session so I can get that out of you on our 30-minute call and then help you put a plan in place. Because here's the thing. If you build a business, and most of us are building these beasts of a business that you don't love, what's the point? You went into business for time and money and freedom and more energy to spend with the ones you love. Take the epic vacations. Do all of the things that you thought was only possible in your dreams. And so if your business doesn't support that, it's really kind of like, what's the point? So we are in Q4. We're in week 2 of October, and now it's really your decision. What do you want? You can either keep going it alone and doing what you've been doing and experiencing maybe early signs of burnout, anxiety, depression, fatigue, exhaustion, can't sleep, waking up at 3 a.m. with panic attacks, all of those different kinds of things, maybe some weight gain in there too. Or you can book a scale strategy session with me. They're completely free. They're complimentary. You get on a call. I literally ask you those 3 questions. Tell me about you, your business, and what's your biggest frustration. We map out a 90-day plan that aligns with those 4 core pillars. Because remember, those are the 4 core pillars that every successful business, Amazon, Apple, Airbnb, uses in order to scale. I use them in my business to triple my $1 million. You're going to use them in your business. It's a non-negotiable, right? We map it out. And if you like my vibe and I like your vibe and you want me to tell you about my program, great. If not, you walk away with a 90-day plan. And that is how I serve you. So continue to go it alone or get some help. Because in just 90 days, if you decide like, wow, she knows what she's talking about, I think she can help me. And you know what? I'm ready to make a move. Then think about what we can do over the next 90 days to get you so ready to launch confidently in 2026 with the clarity you need to close more deals. See, that's the thing. Clarity comes from having confidence. You need both of those interchangeably. And so if you've been saying to yourself, I just need to figure this out. I need more clarity. If I had confidence, then I could have more clients. Well, guess what? You need all 3 of those things, and that's what I help you do in just 90 days. So comment scale in order to book that complimentary scale strategy session. I will see you, I will not see you next week because it is Celebration Day. So I will not see you next week. I hope you have a fantastic day. Follow along on my stories next week. You'll see what I'm up to. I'm going to be celebrating a fabulous day in October. Hint, hint. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Comment scale to book your complimentary scale strategy session. Comment newsletter if you're not on my newsletter list. I'll see you in 2 weeks.